this is Golden Heroes episode, I want to say 4. I think I've decided I'm going to call them issues now because suddenly struck me, which seems like a bit of a no-brainer, that I should be calling this issue 4 rather than episode 4. But anyway, there we go. So this is, I think, episode 4, and this is Legacy of Eagles. So a little bit of background for you. Legacy of Eagles was the first official scenario for Golden Hero. So as you know, our last 3 episodes we've been playing Crossfire, which was the adventure that was in the supervisor's book or the referee's book. So this is the first release that was released independently for Golden Hero. So those of you, say again. You're all right, Kevin. Did you say something?
No.
Oh, I was just going to say that for those of you who know anything about comic book art, the cover for this was done by Brian Bolland, who's a name that some of you may recognise. So I thought I'd stick the cover up as our cover page there. And in our game time, so as per last episode or as per the last scenario, so this again is taking place in 1984, and today's date is April 23rd, 1984, which was a Monday. And amazingly, Hello by Lionel Richie is still number 1, which was also the case for the duration of the last adventure as well. So what that says about Lionel Richie, I don't know. But anyway, so as I say, today's date in the game world is April 23rd, 1984, and it's a Monday. So in New London, it's a mildish day. A few showers are forecast. And we'll get to where you all are in a moment. But one thing I would like to just mention, so if I don't know if those of you who are in the if you're in the page which has got your characters, again I've hopefully linked that in the chat, but I just wanted to point a couple of things out for you. So first thing is, are you able to actually open your character sheets? Because I know that Kevin was having some trouble, but have you all been able to open them okay?
Yes, I can.
Cool. So if you scroll down, so on your character sheets, which you're familiar with, but if you scroll down to the second page, you should see that I've now updated them with what are called the campaign ratings.
Ooh.
So if you look at those, you should now all see that you have some numbers written on that second page of your character sheet, which weren't there before. So I just want to talk about that a little bit. It wasn't something to worry about, honestly, but basically what campaign ratings are is they're in Golden Heroes, they're a way to kind of advance your character essentially, but also they work as a measure of how your character is perceived, and they do have some mechanical benefit. But basically there are three sections. You've got public status, so top 5 ratings relate to public status, the second 5 relate to detective points, and then the third group of 5 relates to personal status. Now in Golden Heroes, these all have a numeric value, and I'll just quickly run through your characters, mainly for posterity because when we're recording this. But there is also some practical value to this, in that when a scenario is concluded, you are able to spend what are called daily utility points, and you can use them to essentially advance your character. And what it means is you spend time doing things like patrolling and training and that kind of thing. So I'm going to delve into that a bit more later on, not this session, but when we get to the end of this session. But these ratings are there, but these are all based on what transpired in the last adventure. And as I say, in the Golden Heroes book, there are a bunch of ratings there. And again, I'm not just going to sit here and read load numbers out, but basically what I'll do is I'll just focus on the overall the value. So I'm looking at Captain Sonar first of all. So he's currently got a public status rating of 20, and what that basically means is as a measure of his public persona, then his character is considered to be accepted / tolerated. So in other words, he's a public figure. Obviously, Captain Sonar is a bit more well known potentially than some of the rest of you because of his relationship with the military and so on. And those individual ratings give him a total of 20. And as I say, in practical terms, that means he's accepted, tolerated. And what that basically means is that he can rely upon, you know, some sort of cooperation from authorities. General public will recognise him and aren't likely to treat him with suspicion or disdain because they've seen him on the news, they've seen him on, you know, Good Morning Britain or whatever, seen him in the news of the world, you know, speculating about his love life and all this kind of thing. But again, so that's just an idea of where he is. Now, his detective points. So detective points are that give you an idea of, give you a value which suggests how well your character is or how good your character is at investigating crime. So obviously a character like Batman, you'd expect to have a pretty high detective rating, whereas, you know, Incredible Hulk is going to have a pretty rubbish one. So Captain Sonar's rating is a 17, which is considered to be average, inverted commas. And what all that means is that he would do what you'd expect. So he will follow up on leads. You know, he'd be expected to follow up on leads, but it's not the primary focus of his way of doing things. You know, his abilities don't particularly lend themselves massively well to you know, sneaking around in the shadows and following up on clues. But again, pretty average. And again, that can be used as a rating that you can use to try and determine how you can detect clues and that kind of thing. And then finally, for personal status. So personal status kind of shows how comfortable your character is in his or her own skin. So Captain Sonar's rating of 22 suggests that he's considered to be confident, and that basically means that he's, you know, he presents confidently, and he's pretty well established in his personal life, and, you know, he's happy with where he is, and, you know, how he's perceived, and again, gives you some sort of an idea of his personality. And again, these ratings can all change. Every scenario that certainly the published scenarios that we go through, there are guidelines on how to adjust those ratings based upon, you know, the actions that you take and things like that. And as I say, there's also this notion of daily utility points, which I'll talk about another time. But anyway, so that's just to give you a rough idea. So again, all of your characters you should see have got ratings. What I'll do is I won't go through all of them, but if I look at so Anurin, so Anurin's got a public status of 16, which suggests that again, accepted, tolerated at the moment, because you haven't really done anything to disavow. It's on the lower end, but again, you know, your actions so far have been seen to be heroic generally. So therefore, that's pretty good. Detective points rating is, I think, a 15, which is actually, yes, essentially says you're a bit ambivalent towards the workings of the criminal underworld, because again, given your character's background, he wouldn't be expected to be dabbling in, you know, day-to-day street crime and knowing about stuff like that.
No.
So that seems reasonable to me. And then finally, personal status of 16, which again says it's kind of a normal, secure. So whatever Norin considers to be normal is kind of where he is, if that makes sense. And then finally, we've got Phase Strike. So Phase Strike has got a public status of 19, which again is accepted, tolerated. So again, falls into that kind of middle ground there. Detective points rating is a 20, which again is considered average. So at the moment, you know, you could be expected to follow up on leads and so on, but you don't go to any great lengths to be a detective, at least not at this point. And then
I feel like I should point out, though, that Strike's ability to be a detective may actually be better than my own personal ability to be a detective.
Exactly.
So,
that's understood. And to be clear, it's based upon your character's actions, so you're fine. I won't rate that against you. And then personal status is a 21, which again is considered sort of secure and confident. So again, based on initial ratings, you know, you're in a pretty reasonable place. And so these ratings are kind of based on the initial scenario that we did. And again, things may very well change. And again, it's not meant to discourage you from taking any actions. It just means that, you know, if you act particularly heroically, for example, then your public perception is liable to go up, and if you don't, it's likely to go down, and so on. Finally, on this page, there's a couple of numbers at the bottom there. So there's a couple of resource levels. So all these really give you an idea of his. So material resource level is about access to facilities, tools, that kind of thing. So, for example, I think I'm still looking at Phase Strike. So, Phase Strike's got a resource level of 3, which is considered to be basic. So, you've probably got access to basic tools, that kind of thing. You know, you're not Tony Stark. You can probably, you've probably got what you need to repair your bow, that kind of thing, if needed. And her financial resource level is at a 4, which is considered to be essentially average. So again, we've got no evidence to suggest that she's wealthy or particularly poor. It's just average.
Mm-hmm.
And then that spare cash and savings is simply it's a number value, which means that on average, it's the amount of spare cash that because Golden Heroes uses a currency, wait for it, called golden pounds, which essentially is any equipment and so on in the game are rated in that, and that's considered to be the amount of spare cash you're likely to have. So obviously somebody who's a bit wealthier is going to have a higher will have more cash lying around, but again 30 GP is considered again pretty average. Whereas I think, if I remember rightly, so I think Anorin is pretty much in the same boat. I think actually Anorin's material resource level is about the same for the finance level. Whereas I think Captain Sonar's is actually a bit higher, if I remember right. Yeah, Captain Sonar's got material resource level of 7, which is considered elaborate scientific because, as we've established, he's a scientist. So it's expected that he's got access to the latest equipment, certainly in his field of expertise in ultrasonics. And it's assumed he can get access to scientific equipment if needed. His financial resource level, I think, is a 5, which is comfortable. So he's a well-paid, comfortably paid member of the armed forces. So he's probably not as well paid as he would be in the private sector. And he's got spare cash and savings of 120, which again just means you've got, if you ever say you need to buy anything in the course of an adventure, then that's the amount of spare cash you've got lying around. And bear in mind, this is 1984, so obviously, things certainly will be cheaper than they are today. And I'm not going to worry too much about that, but it's part of the system. And as I was doing the campaign ratings, I thought I'd go and just fill those in as well. So I just wanted to take a minute just to explain what that's all about. Again, it's something to worry about. It's just the campaign rating system in Golden Heroes was always considered to be pretty kind of unique for the time. How that will affect anything, we will find out. Great. Anyway, I just wanted to divert a little bit into that. I'm going to go back to the VTT. So, okay. So, as we set out, as I said, it is a Monday in April, and you've the events of the last scenario took place out to 3 weeks ago. And I'm assuming, and you may free tech me, but it's assumed that now that you have at least you've got some established lines of communication with DICE, given what you went through with them last time. So I guess the first thing I'd like to ask you all is have you decided to organise at all, or are you still operating independently? Given Captain Sonar, obviously we know he does have links to the military and is presumably more easily contactable. But have you any thoughts on what may have transpired since the last sequence of events you found yourself in? What I want to know is, have you come up with a cool superhero team name? And are you operating out of a satellite?
Oh my god! I haven't, but I hope somebody has, and we are.
I don't know if we're teaming up.
Well, we've sent an email to.
No email. 1984. Don't forget.
Oh, we sent a pager to
fax
to the Amstrad guy to see if we can, in fact, utilize some of his high-tech technology. If not, we have spoken to Sinclair. We popped into one of his crazy events to see if we can use his new allegedly new up and coming electric vehicle, you might be able to turn into
Oh, I
some
love the
kind
thought. I love the thought of you all
supercar.
having. You've all got themed Sinclair C5s.
Supercars, yeah.
Oh
They
my
were never
god,
catch on.
that's the most 1980s thing I think I've ever heard. I love that.
Yeah.
So as we established, I think am I right in thinking that and I might have this the wrong way around, but we did establish, I think, that it was Anorin who'd had some dealings with dice before. Is that right?
Yes, because I've been around 5, 6.
You've been around for a long time, and I think Phase Strike was you kind of got into things because it was forest and it was in your kind of neck of the woods that events were happening.
Yeah, I was
And obviously,
aware
as we know,
that was going down.
yeah, and as we know, Captain Sonar is, as I say, he's certainly contactable by the military. So, but I think it's fair. So, from what you're saying, it's fair to say that you haven't really organised, and you've obviously probably had other things going on. As I say, those events took place. Obviously, if you remember, we established that there was an immense amount of secrecy around it. So, although you earned the thanks of both the Star Guard and also reluctantly Major Dawson for your assistance, and so you've certainly done yourself. You've given yourself a good reputation boost. But we'll assume things have been, relatively quiet. Again, bearing in mind this is 80s comics, it's fair to assume you've probably all had your own issue of your individual title has come out, monthly title. So it's safe to assume that you've all had something going on. But on this particular Monday, let's assume that Major Dawson has given you a pager. Let's say a pager. Pagers around in 1984. Is that fair to assume?
I want to
I
say
think so.
yes.
I'm going to have to Google that, aren't I? Because I don't want to be historically inaccurate in my comic book based superhero role playing game.
Yeah, they're about in the 80s.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, the first pager was in 1921. Blimey.
Blimey. Surely not.
But yeah, the motor. Yeah, so the first. Yeah, there was a.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's page. That page probably was an entire room.
exactly.
It's like telex.
You had to drive it around like it was like a caravan. You had to take around with you.
Yeah.
Now,
we have a
apparently,
telex machine.
so apparently, Motorola launched the Page Boy 1, which was their first successful consumer pager in 1974.
Massive.
So, okay, I think it's
research.
yeah, I think it's safe to assume then that let's assume that Dice, and again, given that Dice obviously have access to technology, and also the fact that this is a alternate 1984, and so although technology generally follows the same trends, I'm going to assume that they've invented a communications device. Let's say it's a small pager type device which they've given to you. Simply, Major Dawson's rationale was simply that if your assistance is needed, he'd like to be able to call on you, and also it has been indicated that if you are, willing to assist when called upon, then there may also be some sort of financial incentive to that as well, because obviously Dice is you'd be operating as a contractor for Dice, and so he's issued you with a pager. So on this particular Monday morning, whatever you are going about your business doing, you receive a page. And essentially, it gets you to call in to Dice headquarters, gives you a contact number, and basically you are asked to call in. So I'm assuming you can all, given a short amount of time, can get access to a telephone. So whether that be a public call box or whether you're at home or maybe Captain Sonar's in barracks, and you are all able to call in. So is that okay? I assume is everybody happy to contact to call in response to the call?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So okay, you call in and you get through to the Dice communications center, and they basically advise you, or they ask you to provide assistance. Apparently, there is a prisoner transport travelling through London and apparently has run into opposition. Major Dawson is in the field elsewhere, and he's asked that the call be put out to you guys to try and intercede. You're given a location and are asked to attend as soon as possible. Okay. So obviously, how you get there is up to you. The communications from the transport are garbled, and you're asked to get there as soon as possible. Now, bearing in mind that this is in New London, now obviously, Captain Sonar, you don't have. Let me just look at your character. You don't have flight, do you?
Yeah, sorry, I missed. Where are we supposed to be going?
You're just given a location in the outskirts of New London. You're just told that there's a prisoner transport is in progress, and there's been reports that they
had down a taxi.
no, it's actually in the city.
Yeah, why can't I take a taxi?
Oh, you can take a taxi, 100%. Yeah, you can do. Yeah, absolutely fine. You can certainly take a taxi. So what about Anora? I mean, obviously, Anorin, I take it. Are you gonna? I seem to remember you have obviously you have your whole dragon.
Yeah, but that's a bit too obvious. I think I might take a I say drive, not driving. Yeah, it has to be a cab.
Yeah, cool. I love the idea of taking black cabs. And same question for you can't get an Uber, not in 1984. So same. I'm going to assume same for Faye Strike.
No, she's gonna ride a bike.
You can ride a bike. Perfect.
Oh no, I'm going to take my C5.
You're going to take your C5. It might take you significantly longer to get there.
Yeah.
Longer than a bike.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a C5?
I have.
Yeah.
In the museum in Merthyr, they got a plastic monstrosity.
Yeah, honestly. Bottom line is you will get there as quick as you can. This is comics. So we can safely assume that you all kind of arrive more or less at the same time. I am going to just bear with me a moment. I'm just going to swap the map over. Right, so I'm going to take obviously take old Mr. Hideout. Can you all see them okay?
Yep.
Cool. So your characters are on the left. So if you want to place yourselves as to where you enter the scene initially, I don't mind if you come. There's obviously this street down here. You could, you can enter from here, or you can enter from here. I guess you could come over the rooftops if you wanted to. Although, again, given your power sets, I think only a Norin could probably legitimately get up onto the roof.
If we're coming by taxi, then we would.
Taxi will probably drop you off
at the bottom.
Off the map or at the bottom.
Is this London?
I'd assume again that the local, that the public have kind of cleared the area because of all this going on.
But if you were coming by cycle, you could come here.
Here?
No, hang on. If you were coming by cycle, because of the lanes in London and being able to go through, you could end up here somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. I could.
No, that's you. So let me move me. Hang on a sec. So I'm taxi. That's a main road. So
yeah,
I reckon here the taxi drop us off.
Are we going? We've been hanging out together. I should come in a different direction. Well, I'm over here.
Cool.
Over here.
Okay, so perfect. So you will
£8.50 is expensive to get from one side of London to the other. Give it a laugh, mate.
£8.50 in golden pounds. That's awful.
I don't care if it's across the river at this time. We're going across the river at this time of night.
No, is your picture a dragon or is that Big Bird from Sesame Street?
Well, I've got a few more. I've done a bit more work on some of the graphics tonight, so prepare to be amazed. I spent far too much time playing around with these maps over the last few days. So these are also just to be clear again. These are the maps from the scenario. So the original scenario came with poster maps. So I've kind of adapted them for this. But these are the actual maps from the original scenario. So what you see you're all at different vantage points, which is totally fine. What you see is as follows. So as you've all approached, You've heard the intermittent sound of what sounds like gunfire, as well as some kind of energy discharge. You don't recognize this. You just hear this kind of beam, like energy beam sound. And as you come into sight, you can see that there's a large van which has obviously been forced to make an emergency stop, and in front of the van is a flying machine of an unusual design, which is this gizmo over here. Okay. It's got no wings, jets, or rotors, and appears to be totally silent. So even though it is hovering hovering off the ground, there's no sound, any obvious sounds of propulsion or like I say, rotor blades or anything like that, or jets. So it's clearly some sort of advanced technology. You can see that there are basically several figures in dark or black jumpsuits, both in the flying vehicle and also several more on the ground surrounding the van. And by the back doors of the van, there are two other figures that you can see. So I think all of you can. I think so. Captain Sonar can certainly see one of them, whereas Honorin and Face Strike can see the other two. Can see the woman who's right at the back of the van. One of the figures is a male who's wearing it looks like a weapon, but it seems to be firing a cold beam, for want of a better word. And it seems as if he's shooting this beam at the back doors of the van. The woman next to him is wearing what looks like some sort of martial arts attire. And the other guys surrounding the vehicle are, as I say, they're all in black, kind of paramilitary looking jumpsuits, and they're wearing black hoods, and they're all carrying some sort of sidearm. Now you can also see there are two other figures. So certainly Face Strike can see that you can see a DICE agent. You recognize the uniform from your previous encounters. He's basically on the ground by the passenger side of the van here, and on the other side of the van, so Honorin and Captain Sonar can see that there's a figure, and you can see that he seems to be trapped inside essentially a block of ice, for want of a better word. And as I say, you can make out the outline of a figure inside the block of ice, and as I say, other than that, there are several of these other figures around. So you can only assume that this vehicle is the prisoner transport that you've been asked to assist with. So what we're going to do is, because we're essentially going to go straight into a punch up. If you bear with me a moment, because again, these guys are actively attacking the vehicle.
Is anyone else ridiculously excited?
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Let me just find my little sheet, and we will make a start. So, if you remember how things work again, as I said before, Golden Heroes is it's a game that's built around superhero combat. So a lot of the scenarios are broken down in this way. Again, we'll try and get through this as well as we can. So always bear with me, because it's a 40-year-old game. So, but I have got a nice little sheet here written out with everyone's order on it. So if you remember the way that it works now, I'm going to rule that Honorin, and in fact, all of you, Captain Sonar, Honorin, and Face Strike, are all going to have the ability to carry out a surprise, which I seem to remember, Kevin, if I'm right, is I think you get 2 frames free because it's a surprise attack, because these guys are clearly focused.
Yeah, because you get the 2 frames, then you roll initiative, so you could get 2 frames plus another 4 frames plus. That's the whole. That remember.
But basically, because you've got surprise, then I'm going to rule that you get 2 frames to act before any of the others, before we even roll for initiative. So again, that gives you the opportunity to get into position and even to make initial attacks if you want to. Now, just to remind you the way things work, in Golden Heroes, combat is broken down into what we call a round, and in that round, a round consists of 4 frames, which is meant to represent the 4 frames of a comic book page. So the frame is the sort of basic segment of time, and within a frame you can move up to your movement value. So on your character sheet where it says you can move a certain distance, that's how far you can move in one frame. So clearly that means that if you want to, you can use those 4 frames simply to move, and you can move 4 times the value that's on your character sheet. You can also use a frame to attack, usually with a hand-to-hand attack. Some superpowers also have 1 frame as being their time, but most I think most superpowers take an action which is basically 2 frames together. So in a turn you can also carry out essentially 2 actions, which means you could probably attack with a superpower twice. And the way that it works is we have initiative, and we roll a dice for initiative, and depending on how many the difference between the 2 rolls, then you may or may not get extra frames to use in advance. But as I say, you've all got 2 frames that you can use before these guys are going to be able to take any sort of an action against you. So the way that it works is we have dex order, and I've got these in order of dexterity. Because basically you act in dex order from highest to lowest. So Captain Sonar, you get to act first because you've got the highest dexterity. So over to you. So what would you like to do with your 2 free frames?
Can I run up and punch this guy?
You certainly can. So you use 1 frame to move. So you just essentially run up to him, and then you're going to use your 2nd frame for a hand-to-hand attack. So your hand-to-hand attack is, if I remember rightly, is a. So are you going to be using your?
Yeah, I'm going to use my powered up fist. I'm going to
your fist amplifier. Okay, perfect. So again, the way this works is that you have an attack called Fist Amplifier, which is based upon your cybernetic gizmo that boosts your strength. And looking at my handy dandy sheet, I can tell you that the old shock trooper there has got a defense class of 10, and your attack is a weapon class 4 with your Fist Amplifier. So what I need you to do is, if you can, I need you to roll a d20, which you can do through the VTT. And you basically need to get like a 4 or better, I think, to hit this dude.
Amazing.
Oof.
1.
Okay, a 1. So I think that's a critical miss, isn't it?
Yeah, his arm falls off.
I was getting cheap. I tried to run and Superman jump punch him.
Wasn't quite outside the door of the taxi, and the seatbelts.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to be. I'm not going to make you roll for a critical miss, because I think we'll just say that you come running up to the dude, and maybe he's the guy on the flying saucer up here shouts a warning to him, and through this guy here, he sees you. He sort of sees you coming at the last minute. He shouts a warning, so the other guy kind of just about manages to duck out of the way, which is probably lucky for him, because if you connected with that, you would probably take his head off. So you've used up your 2 frames, but you're now engaged with these guys. So next on our list is Anorin. So Anorin, you are next. So bearing in mind you have got 2 frames, what would you like to do before we roll for initiative?
Dragon. Sorry.
So I don't know. So I know there's a. So where's I gone here? So I can see there's a spaceship. There's people attacking the.
You can't from where you are there. You can't actually quite. All you can see is these 2 guys attacking the back of the van, and also some of the shock troopers. So you haven't seen the vehicle that's. So
while that's become a one.
Again, it's silent.
I'm going to go Mystic Shield.
Okay, so do you want to move? And okay, so I think so. Mystic Shield, that'll take 2 frames for you to put up anyway, won't it? Because it takes an action, because it's a superpower.
Magic.
So Mystic Shield. Let's just have a little look and just remind myself of what that does. So Mystic Shield, if I remember rightly, it's magic.
Like
Magic. So is it a magic shield, right? Oh, Mystic Shield.
Yeah.
Okay, so it costs you 2 magic points, which I'll mark off on here. Okay, so that's 2. So you cast. It takes you your 2 frames because it takes you an action to cast it, I believe. And so if it's Mystic Shield, right. So if it's Mystic Shield, basically the way Mystic Shield works, it actually acts by giving you a strike modifier.
Mm-hmm.
So what that means is when someone tries to attack you, they suffer a -1 to their attack. So it's not actually a force field. It's almost like a deflection field, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You can also spend additional magic points to make it more effective. So for each 2 magic. What?
I think at the moment I'm just going to pop up initially and then see what happens with what we
Okay,
do.
no, that's cool. Yeah, perfectly fine, perfectly sensible. Fine. So you've done that. So you've cast this magic. So what this represents, it's like a kind of almost like a flickering in the air in front of you. Okay, so over to Inorin. So over to Phase Strike. So Phase Strike, you're up here.
Right,
You can clear.
Go on.
No, go ahead. What I was going to say was you can see. So again, don't forget you can move. You can move and you can make a hand-to-hand attack, or if you want to use your, I believe a 2-handed attack is cost an action. So that if you wanted to shoot your bow, you'd have to probably stand still and then shoot from there.
What I would like to do, because I'm on my bike, aren't I? So
oh, you are on your bike. You're right.
if it's at all possible, and stop me if it's not, I'd like to.
Everything is possible in Golden Heroes.
Wheelies.
I'd like to do a wheelie. Arrive to
Bunny hop.
I'd like to grab the bike, lob it in sort of this direction, not necessarily at a specific person, but just as a distraction, so that I can. Could I scale up here to get up here so I've got a better view of things?
Let me have a look. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do.
We're going to watch a rally chopper being thrown.
Rally chopper.
Yeah, I'd like to throw a chopper to try and sort of interfere with the action that's going on.
Okay. Well, okay. Okay. I'll tell you what you can do. Okay, that's good. So, first thing is to throw the bike. Yes, you could do that. I mean, that's just I just rule if you just want to throw the bike at the guy, your strength of 12. Let me just double check.
Yeah, 12.
So as long as it's conceivable for you to lift the thing, which I'm sure it is.
5, yes, size 2.
I've got 20, so I can. I don't know.
Yeah, you need a strength of 6 to be able to throw a bike. You've got a strength of 12, so you can easily throw the bike. And that's just going to take you. I guess that's just going to take you a fray. Well, no, it's going to take you an action. But I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll set you up for your next frame. So let's say you ride the bike in, you dismount, pick the bike up, and you're going to luzz it. And who are you going to luzz it at? Did you say?
I'll probably chuck it in this over in this direction. So either this person or this person. I can't see where the end of the lorry is, so I don't know whether I could actually get her. But I'll take him out if not.
Well, like I say, we will say that you.
I was just given she's got bow and arrow and aiming skills, would she not get modifiers because she's physically throwing something, and therefore that's in the same realms as bow and arrow?
Yeah, no, I'm cool with that. To be honest, I wasn't even going to make you roll for it because you're doing it more as a distraction, right? You're not using it as a weapon. You're simply just throwing it because it's going to. So okay, what we're going to say then is. So you let's say you sort of ride up a bit closer. You gracefully jump off your bike, and in a flowing move, you scoop the bike up, and you toss it at these two. This fool doesn't see it coming, and he's kind of knocked. He's kind of knocked on his back as this bike sort of flies into him. He's not out of the fight, but it just is enough to knock him down. This character here, however, she seems to have superhuman reactions because she certainly moves extremely quickly. You would have sworn that she hadn't seen it coming because she was concentrating on the back of the van. However, she kind of gracefully steps to one side, and this guy takes the brunt of the chopper bike thrown at him, or whatever bike it is. And she obviously turns then and is aware of your presence. Now, in Golden Heroes terms, I'm going to rule that she's used up one of her frames because she's used what we call a combat response, which means she's essentially dodged that attack.
Mhm.
And in Golden Heroes, you use up frames to every time you dodge something or you avoid an attack, you have to spend a frame, and you can use your frames from future rounds. So you can essentially, buy up all your, you can spend all of your 4 frames and buy some from the next round if you want, if you have to keep dodging. But essentially, she's dodged out the way very gracefully, but it's also tipped you off that she's clearly got some sort of superhuman either intuition or reactions, because again, there's no by all right, she shouldn't have seen that coming. Okay. Right, so that's everybody having taken their 2 actions. So to summarize, Captain Sonar's in combat with this chap in the corner here. You're gonna use your next action is going to be to go up the side of the building. Now you've got gymnastics skill, phase strike, which is what I was just checking. So one of you have actually got the skill of gymnastics.
Yeah.
So what that means is, you essentially can, you'll basically have no trouble, scampering up the side of the building. There'll certainly be handholds. It will take you probably take you an action to get to the roof. However, you're not going to have to roll to get up, because again, you've got the gymnastics skill, so it means you're naturally agile in gymnastics. So yeah, you can sort of use your next 2 frames, whichever order they come in, to climb up the side of the building. It's only like a 2-story building. Well, I guess it's probably a 3-story building looking at that, but anyway, it's no problem. You can do that. Okay. So
Okay.
I think what we'll do is, does somebody want first of all to roll a D10 for me for your side? I don't mind who does it, and then I will roll for the bad guys.
Don't ask me to do it. My rolls are terrible.
Okay, so that's a 4, and I will roll a 5. Okay, so I think all that means is, so rolled a. Where is my little table? Here we are. Okay, so basically it's so the bad guys are going to get 1 frame to act. That's all they can do, because they beat you by 1. It just means they get to take 1 frame. So what we will do is we're going to start with. Let's have a look at her. So this character, the lady character here. She sees that you've scampered up you're sort of climbing up the side of the building. So I'm going to knock off 2. I've just knocked off 2 frames off your first round, because you're going to spend those to climb up the side of the building. So she obviously sees that she can't do anything to get to you at this point. I'm just double checking what abilities she has. Yeah, she's got martial arts. So her abilities are all kind of close range. So she can't do much to. So at this point, she looks around, obviously, seeing that there's a superhero on the scene. She looks around. So she's going to use her frame to move over towards. I think Honorin, because Honorin is the only person that she can actually see. So she can use her frame. So she's going to do. So that's 2, 4. So she's heading in this direction now. She's got 5 meter move. So that's 1 frame. So she's moved about 5. Each of these squares is 2 meters, by the way. So she's heading towards you, Honorin, but she can't get to you in that 1 frame. Okay. But she's sort of running towards you, clearly, because at the moment, of course, you look fairly innocuous. You're in your human form, so she's just heading towards you. So next up on the side of these guys is this character here. He is simply going to continue. He's going to spend 2 frames to use his. He's basically firing what seems to be a cold weapon of some sort. And just let me have a little look here. So blah 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 blah. Is there anything special? Okay. Yeah, he is simply he is simply just going to use. He's going to use 2 frames to keep firing at the back door. Captain Sonar, it occurs to you, given that you are the scientist of the group, you've kind of analysed, you've spotted what he's doing, and you assume that what he's trying to do is use his ice beam to drop the temperature of the metal in the van down to a level such as that a well-placed blow would likely shatter it. So he's literally trying to make the metal of the back of this van fragile, brittle. So he's like firing his coal beam, and he seems determined to carry on with that action, because even though you guys have entered the scene, he's just basically still firing his beam at the back of the door. Okay. So next up, we've got the shock troopers, as we call them. So let's see what we're going to do. So this guy is simply going to spend a frame. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. He's going to lose a frame as he kind of gathers himself and sort of gets the bike off him. Okay, and then he spends his so that's 1 frame. So he's doing that. This guy here is going to move. What's the movement? 5 meters. So he's going to basically move up over here. He's heading to support this other character here. This guy is staying where he is for now. This chap is going to come running over here as well, because he's seen you come. He's seen you and Norin, so he comes over here. These guys on here, they begin to. There seems to be some sort of turreted weapon on top of this flying vehicle, and you can see that they are basically trying to turn the vehicle, trying to basically turn the weapon round, and they're going to aim it at Captain Sonar, but they're not going to be able to fire it this turn, because they're just going to have to. As I say, they're literally having to manually turn this thing around. It looks like a turret-mounted machine gun or something, although it's likely not to be a machine gun. But and obviously one of these guys is clearly piloting this vehicle. So let's say this chap at the top here he's clearly piloting it. This guy's the one with the gun, and he's trying to spin the gun around to aim at Captain Sonar. So that's them. And this final guy he's going to take a shot at you, but he's just going to hand to hand, because you've got in close with him. So he's going to try and hit you. He has got a weapon class 0.
Got no chance.
Yeah, your defense class is a 6. So defense class 6, weapon class 0 versus defense class 6. Oh god, I don't rate his chances much, but no, he kind of throws a feeble blow at you, which he lands the punch, but he's clearly not particularly well trained in hand-to-hand combat, so you barely feel it. So that's all of them having acted. So we're over to now it's over to you guys. So they've had their 1 frame of action in advance. So Captain Sonar, you have got a full. You've got your full 4 frames in which you can act. So remember, each frame you can move up to your full movement, and obviously you can use superpowers, whatever you want to do. You've got 4 frames. So let me know what you'd like to do.
I'm going to deal with this pest here. I'm going to swing another blow at him.
Perfect. So that'll just take you a frame, because it's a. So obviously you're not moving because you're right there. So
D20?
you have. Yeah, if you can roll me a D20 first of all. Nice one. I think that's much more convincing. I think we said you needed a 4 or better, didn't we? So okay. So you swing your fist amplifier hums satisfyingly, and you land a nice punch on him. Right, so you're going to roll for me. Oh, blimey! To be honest, you don't even need to roll, because it's a super powered attack. So in Golden Heroes, any super powered attack that hits a minion, for want of a better word, is enough to take them out. Your fist is obviously super powered, so you deck him, and you actually, because you've got a plus 18 I think strength bonus with that as well. You're going to knock him back, so you land him with a punch, and he goes flying back a couple of meters and collapses on the ground. Clearly, he's not getting up again for a fair while. So you've got another 3 frames to use. So you can obviously move, you can attack, whatever you'd like to do.
This vehicle they're in, this flying saucer or whatever it is, can I see the door? Or is that
so it almost looks like, yes, you can. And this guy, funnily enough, it's a bit like a like a tank where you have the driver kind of poking out of the top of the vehicle. So although it clearly does have a door, this guy here is, although the counter obviously shows him on top, he's actually inside, and you can sort of see him poking up as he's flying it. This guy's on top, and he's the guy who's trying to manhandle this weapon round. But the door's here. I guess we'll use that as the door. If you see that sort of purple thing there, so you can clearly see the door.
I'm just gonna go climb in and punch them out.
Okay, so if you want to move yourself, basically 2.5. What is your movement actually? My apologies. Let me just check your movement. But yeah, so basically 2.5 squares. If you just want to sort of move yourself 2.5 squares vaguely, and place first. That's your first frame. So that's 1 frame. So you've used 2 frames up so far. Okay, got 2 frames left to go. Beg your pardon?
It's an Avro car.
Yeah, that's right. So it's hovering sort of 6 feet off the ground or something.
Yeah. It's based on the 1961 Avro car. I'm going to download the image.
Yeah, so I was just about to say that you're going to have to sort of climb or clamber up onto it to. I'm just looking at your. So you've got personal force shield, haven't you? You've got energy attack. Oh, because you've got larger as well, haven't you? That's interesting. That is interesting.
Yeah, but I'm not tall. I'm taller. I'm like more stocky.
Yeah, you're sort of permanently, aren't you? You're permanently. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Fine. So, okay. So all you're going to have to do is, if you want to, let's say you're going to clamp. So I'd say it's going to take you another frame to clamber onto the vehicle, because although it's 6 feet in the, it's like hovering off the ground, but it's not like 20 feet up in the air. It's just hovering off the ground. So you clamber up onto it, and then you're going to be able to. This is the easiest target. This guy on top here.
Sounds good to me. Got the gun.
Yeah. So if he then sees you sort of jump up onto the side of it, and you sort of frantically, he's again frantically trying to turn this unwieldy cannon onto you. Oh, hello. What's that? Kevin's just sent us a picture. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, essentially, yeah. Avro car. Well done. Kevin's just posted a picture in the chat of an Avro car.
Yeah.
1961 attempt to make flying saucers.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I could just shove them in.
I thought we already had flying saucers at that point, but anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so right, so you clamber on, right? So again, same again. So it'll be that again. If you just want to roll a d20 for me, again, the weapon class will be the same. Yeah, I think that's good enough. And again, you don't really need to roll for him, because you've done enough. It's a superpowered attack. So he then goes flying off the side of this Avro car and slumps to the ground, unconscious. Right, so that's all of your frames used up. Now this guy is in the, as I say, he's basically clearly flying this thing, but you'll have to deal with him next round. So phase strike, down to you. So you've used up your 2 frames, you've clambered up, so you're now in position on the roof. So what would you like to do?
Yep, I'd like to grab my bow.
Yep.
And I would like to aim it at the the woman, this one.
Okay, cool. Let's have a look and see how far away she is. So it's what's that?
I don't know.
You should have mentioned you had deck cord wrapped round your bike. Did we not mention that? I thought that was a standard operating procedure. Deck cord around the bike, you can fire it, acts as a 15-kilo bomb.
Excellent.
Okay, so she's about
how far I can shoot, or whether there's
no, that's fine. Because basically, weapons have got, I think it's 20 meter, 40 meter. That's kind of so 20 meters is like standard range. 40 meters is long range.
Okay.
You're within 20 meters, because I've just counted that as being about 16 meters away. So all you have to do is, so you're going to make an attack with your bow. So it's two-handed weapon is an action, so that will be your last 2 frames used up, because 2 frames is an action.
That works.
So all you've got to do now, she is going to be a little bit harder to hit because she is not a shock trooper. However, you are she obviously her concentration is on him. So the first thing to do then is, if you want to roll me a d20, I will then see what you need to get to be. But if you just roll a d20 for me, that's a 9. Okay, so she has got bear with me. She has got a DC of 5. So a DC of 5. And you've got a weapon class of 4. So you rolled a 9, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that normally would be good enough to hit her. And now she does have some abilities. Now her reactions power, however, because she is unaware of the fact, so she literally is not looking at you. She's looking at over there.
Mhm.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm going to not give her an opportunity to dodge that, because I don't think it's realistic. She hasn't got any sort of extrasensory perception. She's got very good reactions. So again, she reacted to your, she was sort of caught the glimpse of the bike flying through the air towards her, and was able to react quickly enough to get out of the way. But she doesn't have like spider sense or anything. So I think it's totally fair that, given that your bow is also a silent weapon, I can't really see it's realistic for her to be able to react to that. So what that means is you've hit her, and your bow does 1d6. So if you'd like to first of all roll 1d6 for me. So that's 1 plus, so you do 4 points of hits to coma, but that gets added. That's 4, but you get a plus 5 to that. So you do 9 hits to coma. And I don't think she's got any dividers, but I'll check that in a minute. And then can you roll 2d6 for me? So that's an 8. Okay, and that's an 8 plus 3. So that's an 11 plus another 5, 16 hits to coma. Hits to kill rather, because obviously your bow is a penetrating weapon. It's a bow.
Yeah.
Now hits to kill. She actually has damage dividers of 3. So basically, you're doing 5 points of hits to kill. So her hits to kill is knocked down. So that's down to. Okay, and then hits to coma. We said that you've done 9, and her hits to coma. She has a divider, but it's 1, so that's pointless really. So she takes 9 points of hits to coma, which takes her down to. Oof. Excellent. Oh, she didn't like that. I'll tell you that much. 23. Okay, right. So yeah, you've basically stuck her with an arrow, and she obviously then, lets out a ouch, or probably some other expletive. I won't go into that. It's a family show. But she now, her attention is now focused on you, because let's say you just shot with an arrow, and she didn't like that.
I mean, yeah, it's fair.
Which is fair. Okay, so next up we've got Anorin. So Anorin, you are up. So you've got your full 4 frames. So what would you like to do? So you've currently got the Mystic Shield up.
Yeah. Mental note: get some depleted uranium arrows. Because they are quite good. So I am going to cast my speciality.
Ready for next time, yeah.
Ready for next time, yes. And some deck cord around the bike. Anyway, so I'm going to use my speciality enhancement. I'm going to cast speed, which is 2.5 points to cast it, and then 5 to maintain. That kicks in after 2 frames, and then 2 points to have my Mystic Shield move with me, and I'm going to move at the 4th. So it's 2 frames. The speed gives me 1, 2, 3, 4 movement points, effectively.
Yeah.
It runs at half speed, and I'm going to run at full speed at the frost guy, ram him straight into the truck.
Go for it. Okay, so if you're gonna move your counter and put you. Sorry, let me try that again. Put you where you're going to end up. So you basically, you go and clobber him. Perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, fine. So I make that
cost of 9. Well, it's a cost of initially of between 4 and
6 and a
5
half
points.
Yeah.
And then
6 and a half, I think, and then
so the
you
speciality.
say it's 2 points per frame to maintain it. Is that right? Or
No. So my
oh no, you're right. Speciality. That costs half the
half.
points to cast it.
Yeah, and it costs 5 to cast. So say 3.
Well, you're clearly tracking your points, so I'll let you track them.
Yeah. But yeah, so
until I get, I'm replicating your I'm replicating that sheet that you made up. You did that sheet which could track all the points and everything.
Oh yeah.
So I'll have that ready for next time. But for now, just fine. Just keep track of it. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go charging into that dude. Okay, fine. So let's see where we stand at this point.
I'll just double check the speed of a grade 1 speed. I can't remember what the actual.
I think it's. Is it?
Can't spell. Where's there? Speed.
Yeah, it's times like this. I'm glad I've got my physical book with me. I must admit. Grade 1, you maneuver it up to twice your original movement. In long, relatively straight movement, you can reach maximum speed of 3 times. So I would say that's fair because you're just running straight at the dude, right? Yeah. So you can easily you're gonna do a charge into combat essentially.
Yeah. What's my movement?
It is a movement of so your movement is, I think, is it 5?
It's 5. Yeah, 8.
So you can do up to 15 meters. So you've easily got the speed to reach him and slam into him.
Yeah. So my mystic shield moves with me.
Yeah. So that keeps you protected, or it makes it harder for you to hit. That's what it does basically. But he can't see you coming because he is concentrating on zapping the door. Now, again, you've all now used up your frames, but we need to resolve the damage against this guy because you've charged into him. So basically, that means that you've done a charge into combat. So you've moved the 4 meters. At least, which you need to do. So you're going to do a hand-to-hand attack, which will do 1d6 hits to kill and 2d6 plus 6 hits to coma. However, I'm going to just let you hit him because he didn't see you coming. So I'm not going to make you roll for a hand-to-hand attack because you've just run into him. Yeah. So do you want to roll 1d6 first of all for the hits to kill?
3 hits to kill.
So that's a 3. I'm just checking him to see whether he's got any sort of dividers. He has got damage dividers actually. Okay, interesting.
3, but doesn't the charging into combat give you, with the speed, give you extra?
Just checking it. You get a damage modifier of +4.
Yeah.
So you did 1d6 hits to kill. What did you roll for that? Sorry.
3 and 3.
3. So 3 plus 7. So that's 7 hits. You've done 7 hits to kill. Yeah. And then it's actually 2d6 plus 6 for the hits to coma. So if you roll another d6,
3, 4,
and then plus 6 is 10. Yeah. Plus 4, 14. So 14 hits to coma. Now he's got dividers, which surprises me, but I think he's got armor, which is why he's got dividers. Yeah, he's got armor. Okay, so his hits to kill dividers are 3. So you do it's basically 5 points hits to kill.
Yeah.
And hits to coma, he's got dividers of 2. So you do 3. I'm going to call it 4. I'll round up to call it 4. So 4 hits to kill. So -4 and okay. But the significant result is, so you've hurt him, but obviously he's distracted. So what he does is he slams into the side of the vehicle, and his energy beam stops shooting out the back door. Okay, because you've slammed into him. It's going to take him a frame to recover. It's also going to take you a frame to recover just because you've run into him. But we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so that's the end of your actions. They've still got some rounds to take. So Python, so that's her name, Python here. She is going to try and attack you because you've moved right past her, and you're the nearest obvious target. Now I haven't forgotten that you've got your mystic shield up.
Yeah.
So and you also gain a dodge modifier because you moved, because you used your speed. So you get a +3 dodge modifier. So just bear with me a moment. So she is going to try and hit you with a hand-to-hand attack. So that is a weapon class 3. Your defense.
The Flash.
What's that?
Good night, Matthew. I'll be the Flash.
There you go. So your defense class is 6, because you're not in your dragon form.
Nope.
However, so defense class of 6, and she's got weapon class, we said, of 3. So 3 against 6. Right. Oh, so she definitely. Well, she's in it. She's in with a chance of hitting you. However, I'm going to give you. You've got the option to make a combat response here because you knew she was there, right? So you're not surprised by her attack because you literally ran past her, to run into the other guy. So it's not like you've been taken by surprise.
I still have speed up.
Yeah, well, you have speed, and that gives you a dodge modifier of +3. So, assuming that you're going to be using that, you're going to try and dodge her, then that gives you a modifier of +3. So, weapon class of attack was weapon class 3. You need to roll 1d6 first of all.
Yeah, so dodge modifier is +3. So let's go 1d6.
Yeah, I've got that handy. So if you just roll a d6 for me, that's 6. A 3 plus a 3, so that's a 6. And let's have a little look. And what is do you have a dodge modifier built into your character? You do have a dodge modifier normally, right? So that does a glancing blow. So she tries to hit you, and she kind of, although she does contact you, she only just is able to strike you. So she is going to roll 2d6. So that is a 7. 13, and so she does a 13. She does 13 hits to kill, and was it 2 hits to coma? Now, so glancing blow, I think halves everything immediately. So that means that you take 1 point of hits to coma, and you take 6 points of hits to kill.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have any armor or anything like that, do you?
No, Divider is only the Conjure Dragon.
In dragon form because you have tough skin. However, you've also got your defensive shield. Let's not forget about your mystic shield.
Yep.
So what does that do?
Mystic
I think the mystic shield only
-1.
Right?
Yeah, it's only a strike modifier of -1. So that wouldn't have made any difference because she rolled an 18.
Yeah.
Okay, so she connects. She connects with you, but again, that damage is all halved. So that is that. And then what's she going to do for her? Have a little look here. Okay, so she strikes at you and is frustrated by the. So she is then going to try and grapple you. So she's actually going to try. Well, I can see where this is going, so I'm going to play this out because I can literally see what's going to happen next round. Because let's face it, I think we all know where this is going. So what she's going to do is she's going to try and grapple you. So she has a speciality grapple. It's a 2.
I'm going to let her.
Yeah, well, that's what I figured. So what she's going to do? Okay, her grapple is blah 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 blah.
It becomes more of an embrace than a grapple.
Yeah, so she's going to try and grapple you. So she's got to try and strike against DC 6. So weapon class 3. And DC 6. Again. She fails anyway. So she's trying to grapple you, and you're kind of you try to let her, but she just for whatever reason can't grab hold of you. She failed that quite badly, so it's not a critical miss, but she's going to try it again because she's got one more. Actually, no, because it's a two-handed attack, so therefore it counts as an action. So she's now used up all of her frames. So Froststorm, so is this chap here. He's using one frame to recover because you slammed him into the side of the vehicle, and the second frame he's going to move towards you. Now he can't use his energy beam on you because he it's an action because it's a weapon attack. So I guess so he's all he can do is prepare to shoot at you. And so you see him, bringing this weapon to bear at you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they've all acted, and then finally the shock troopers here. So this guy is going to finally stand up because he got. So he's simply going to move in. So they're all coming towards you. This guy can get to you. He's going to he's going to try and shoot you. Yeah, he's going to try and shoot you. Be a bit ill-advised because if he misses, he's got a chance of hitting the other two, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So let's have a little look. This could be interesting. So he's got a weapon. Oh, blimey. Oh, dear. It's a weapon class 0. Your defense class is 6, right?
It is, but we're obviously with.
And also, you've got the modifiers because you've also moved. And you've got your shield up against you. So actually, he's effectively treating you as if you are a weapon class 5.
Yeah.
So let's see whether he has any chance.
Oh
my god! It's a critical hit. Okay, that's oof. Okay, so dude did good. Let's roll this.
It was nice knowing you. No, just kidding.
So all that does though, that was the critical hit result. All it does is it reduces damage dividers, but you don't have damage dividers at the moment anyway. So that gun is a 1d6 plus 3. 1d6 plus 3. So that's 1 hits to coma. Oh god. 4 hits to coma because it's plus 3, and it is 6 plus 3, 9 hits to kill. So he's actually wounded you, but again, you're nowhere near your you're not nowhere near that causing you any problems in terms of your, because you've got 50 hits to 50 and 55, haven't you?
Yeah.
So so he's probably pissed you off now. So I think I know where this is going next round. This guy here is not quite sure what to do. So he kind of runs. He's running back towards the vehicle, but he hasn't got enough action in him to get up onto the vehicle because he's seen you climb up there. This guy he's still flying the thing. So there's not much he can do really. He's flying the vehicle. And then this guy here is again going to run up in support. So you're now surrounded by these guys. Okay, cool. So that's everybody having taken that. They've all taken all of their frames as well. So we're now into, this is going to be round 2. So I think again, if you want to roll me a d10, please, for your initiative, and I'll do the same. That's a 7, and I got a 2. Oh dear, that's not good for my side, I don't think. So that's a difference of 5. So I think you get 3 frames in advance. So Captain Sonar, you are first to act. You have got 3 frames at your disposal.
The driving guy's exposed, right?
Yeah, he's really regretting now that his head is sticking out of this little hatch on the top of this vehicle.
Can I just give him like a flop on the head then, just to sort of deal with him?
100%. To be honest, I'll tell you what you could do actually. You could actually, if you could also hit him with your ultrasonic attack. Because that you've got a built-in ultrasonic, you've got like a blaster built
I
in.
mean,
Haven't you?
it feels risky to stand on top of a spaceship and shoot ultrasonic attacks everywhere.
It's a fair point.
Basically, I'm
That
about
is
to
a fair
hijack
point.
this ride. I'm
Sure,
about to pull up this whole vehicle.
Yeah, you can give him a whack. So if you want to, again, I think as long as you roll I think said it was a 4 or better, didn't we?
There we go.
Yeah, you've smashed it. I was gonna give him some benefit for being in sort of partial cover because he's inside a vehicle, but yeah, again, yeah, you knock him out. The immediate reaction is that this thing begins to sort of now drift forwards because he's not controlling it anymore.
That's good.
But that will happen next time. Right, so you've got 2 frames left to act. So what would you like to do?
Well, you said this thing's got some sort of laser machine gun on the top, right?
Yeah, it's got a weapon on. It's got a what I believe is described as a photon cannon. Although you don't know that, it just looks like a high-tech turret-mounted laser gun / fancy machine gun on the top.
I mean, it looks similar enough to weapons we've got that I'd be able to operate it, right?
Oh yeah, I mean it's literally a big gun with a trigger. So yeah, no problem. You could certainly shoot it.
I mean, how long does it take to aim? I want to shoot the Frosty Giant guy, Mister.
I think it would just take you. It would take you probably a frame to aim it, and then it will take you 2 frames to shoot it because it's a 2-handed weapon.
Can I aim it and then borrow a frame from the next round to shoot him?
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah. So who do you want to shoot it at?
Go wrong.
I'm shooting Mr. Whippet.
Mr. Whippy. That's a better name for him. I wish they'd come up with that. I should call him Mr. Whippy. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So basically, you're doing that. This the vehicle, this flying saucer, kind of drifts into the front of the truck, and it kind of sticks here because again, it's not flying 50 feet in the air. It's literally just hovering above the ground. And because the pilot has kind of been knocked out, he's obviously slumped forward, and it just gently drifts into the front of the truck.
Sounds good. Not concerned at all about that.
But again, then you then take your turn to swivel this around. Now this guy's trying to clamber up onto the vehicle. You can deal with him because he won't get to act yet, but you can deal with him in a minute. Okay. Right. So you're all set up. So next up, we've got I think it's Phase Strike. You're next to go.
From where I am, I'm guessing that I can probably aim for this guy here. Sorry for moving him, just so you can see him.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'd like to do that just because Anirin's just so surrounded at the moment.
Yeah. So just to remind you, you've all got like 3 frames, so that would be enough for you to take a shot with your bow, and then you'll still have a frame left, so you can either aim for the next shot, or if you want.
I mean, I don't. How far can I jump? Would I be able to jump from here down to here?
Probably
not. Okay. Steve, you've completely broken up.
It's not. It's Steve, right, and not mine.
Yeah. I was thinking it's me. No, it sounds like Steve's.
Oh, sorry.
I was like, my
smash
speed connection and everything.
Yeah, I think Steve's smash is ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 98% full of real potato.
Roof. Take you to
Is it just me that can't hear this?
I can't hear
hear.
anything he's saying.
No.
Oh God.
I think he basically said, "Yeah, you can just do a running somersault off the top."
I
and
think
it's
that's what he
definitely
said. I can do whatever I want, pretty much. Yeah.
I thought he said he could see Russian aircraft dropping bombs.
Oh God.
I mean, but it could have been what you said.
just flashes of light on the horizon, eh?
Yeah. Hello?
It's still broken up, Steve.
Yeah.
No, you keep cutting in and out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking the Daleks have arrived.
Yeah. He needs 50p for the meter.
I mean, this is basically over next go, isn't it? Next round. Those guys have closed in on you. That's a fatal mistake.
Hello?
Hello?
No,
No.
no, you're not. It's like really cutting in and out.
Yeah. Is your batteries going your headphones or speaker, microphone or something? And do we actually have a plan for this? We didn't really have a chat about what we were going to do. We just...
I have literally
Well,
no.
I'm trying to. We're a team now, so I'm trying to steal us a ride.
Okay, we need the Avro car. That's, team car.
That's not. I mean, we've basically now got a team vehicle. If I can co-op this.
Yeah.
Well, no more taxis when we get paged.
Yeah.
See, I
Still
just
learning
want to get Faye over here to help out an iron.
Don't you have gymnastics?
I mean,
so
I
you
do want to shoot the cannon on this bad boy and see what it does.
You could do the whole Black Widow thing and leap in the air.
I could do, but the other part of me wants to bust into that lorry and see what's actually being hidden in there. I want to
It could be a guy with superpowers. I mean, we probably don't want to open it up. It's like Pandora's box.
Yeah, but I'm curious.
I mean, you've got gymnastics and crazy dexterity. Surely you can run and jump off the roof.
I would think so. Because I mean, I thought I might be able to...
like one story only.
The lorry's lower down than the roof, so
yeah, but you would be leaping into combat, grapple, jumping, dodge, parry. Pushing.
I'm still trying to work out what I'm allowed to do. So
you've got claws.
I have got claws. So I mean, that would be a way to
jump into them.
Yeah, could you? Wolverine down the front of the building.
I'm gonna make this guy.
You could leap on.
This guy's
the side of
the baby.
And Wolverine down the not Wolverine, the guy. I can't remember the name of the black and white.
Freddy Krueger?
No, black and white
not
film.
And
he jumped into a sail, and stabbed his knife and
used a knife.
It came Douglas Fairbanks. Douglas Fairbanks Jr.
Yeah.
The whole side of the cloth truck.
Oh yes, that would be cool.
Do we think? I mean, he was using. This can't be a cloth truck. He was using an ice blasting laser gun to open it up. All he had to do was just open the curtains.
That's a good point.
Maybe he's a fucking idiot.
Mate, it wasn't even locked. Why didn't you just try the door?
I did say my personal detective skills aren't that great.
I mean, you could give it a go, and the worst that happens is you splat against it and slide down.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
They say Steve's Wi-Fi has gone down.
Ah,
I think that's wife and not wifey.
I mean
Wi-Fi.
that'd be a bit TMI, I think, possibly.
Yeah, oh, Steve. Oh, I misread that. Sorry. I always worry with those points of reference in terms of that Douglas Fairbanks thing. Is if I'm too esoteric, I find that you got to explain it. So I made some. I was arguing with somebody on some social media thing, and he said guns don't kill people, fingers do. So I went, I think you mean it's rappers, because you saw it in a documentary on BBC Two, and then you got to explain to an American who Goldie Looking Chain are, where Wales is, and that they're a comedy rap
What
band
BBC
from
Two is.
from the 90s. You're like, oh, I've got no hope, mate.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
It's like, I don't understand. It's Goldie Looking Chain. They did a song called Guns Don't Kill People, Rappers Do, because I saw it on a documentary on BBC Two. And you didn't get it. Clearly, because, there's just me and 3 other people that have heard that song.
Oh, I miss arguing with people on social media.
But you do. I get that sometimes. I walked past somebody at work years ago. They had a box, and I went, "Is there an asp in that box?" And they're like, "What?" And then you got to explain that a stand-up routine by Kenneth, the one from Carry On, Kenneth
Williams? Was he
Kenneth
Kenneth
Williams. He did there was an EP was released, a little 45, and he did this whole stand-up about an asp in his box, recorded in the 1950s. You're like, I've got no hope. Why I had a copy of that, I don't know. But yeah, you just, I do find that sometimes your points of reference, whilst funny, having to explain them aren't. Oh, so Steve's Wi-Fi has gone down.
I made a reference to Blackadder in the office the other day. That was a mistake. Nobody had heard of it.
Oh, I did that. I did a quote from Monty Python. So somebody said about the Messiah. No, somebody said, "Oh, he's a naughty boy." I go, "He's not the naughty. No, he's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy."
Very naughty boy.
It wasn't. Nobody got the joke at all, and I berated them for it. I told them they should be ashamed of themselves. That even my kids would get that joke. They should be ashamed they didn't know that joke. I was just utterly appalling. And one kid goes, "Oh, I thought I knew it, but I didn't want to say anything." He's like, "No, you should know that joke. It should be taught at school."
Yep.
So Steve's Wi-Fi has gone down. So if you try 5 minutes, the dog's probably chewed for the my son's rabbits did that. I got a phone call saying, the Wi-Fi's not working. I think the rabbit's chewed through the cable.
Oh no.
He's got 2 rats. So I had to go in the house, and and you find there's this big chunks of cable missing because they've chewed through it. Bloody things.
You used to have a cat that would eat the Christmas lights. Like, you'd be sitting there and there'd be a crunching sound coming from inside the Christmas tree. And we eventually worked out it was the cat.
Oh, that's a bit much. What, the old ones with the glass light bulbs?
We had a pair of cats that if you put your a bag in a certain point in the hallway, the cats would pee in it. Nowhere else, just in that particular point. A number of times my daughter goes, went to school. She goes, "There's my gym uniform smells of wee," because you left it in that. There's probably a 6-foot area that anything that was left in there for a short period of time, the cats would pee in it. Nowhere else, just there. It's almost as if they didn't want you. Oh, so annoying. You'd have friends come around and go, don't leave anything there.
Hello. Oh my God! Why the Wi-Fi went down? Would you believe? It's most odd. But can you hear me again?
Yes,
we can. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Carry on though.
Good. Okay. Yeah. So I'm hoping it won't go down again, but who knows?
Let's move quick.
Let's move quick. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
The
upshot of all of that, can I jump onto the lorry or can't I jump onto the lorry?
Yes, I think yes. I think after that, I think yes, 100% you can.
Excellent.
Let's go with that. That sounds like a perfectly reasonable Plan of action. Let me just sign back into the tabletop. Oh, now the tabletop's not letting me back in. Would you believe? Hold on a minute.
Yeah, I think she's still in there.
Yeah, there we go.
Steve.
I'm in. Steve 2. I'm in. Yes. So I think yes, you can do that. So what we will rule that is, and don't worry, I'll just edit that bit out. It's fine. So what we will say is that you're going to do what we call a leap into combat because you obviously are.
That is my intent upon landing.
Cool. So you drop down. So you grasp your bow suitably, and you leap gracefully off the roof, somersault in midair with your gymnastical skill, and then you land upon the roof. And then who is it you wanted to jump into? Did you say?
This guy here.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so if you want to just move yourself next to him, and let me have a little look here.
I was gonna, rather than use the bow because I'm obviously that bit closer, I was going to use my claws.
Yeah, well, because you're going to basically you do sort of jump into him, leap into combat. Basically means that you kind of go you go flying into him because you're using your momentum to do that. So what that means is so what you need to do is make a hand-to-hand attack. Now you've got claws, right? So your claws are a weapon class 2. So they have got a defense class of 10, which is shockingly bad. So strike table, weapon class 2 plus 10. So you only have to roll, I think, a 6 or a better to hit him. So if you'd like to roll a d6, a d20, there you go. Oh yeah, no problem. Because you've got somersault attack anyway, which gives us what we need. So if you would like to roll, I'm going to get you to roll because even though because you're not using actually you're using your claws, aren't you? So yeah, use your claws. So 2d6.
Okay, hang on a second.
Hits to kill.
Versus me.
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
That's 11, and then hits to coma is again 1d6 for that.
Okay, here it comes.
Yeah, I mean, but so basically, the point is, again, as we said, because you've hit him, you're a superpowered being. You've hit him. He's trashed, so he drops to the ground with claw marks across his chest. So you're now kind of here.
Yeah.
You're also basically. Hang on a minute. I'm going to move your character up to the top. Yeah. So you basically sort of landed here in a fighting stance, right in the midst of these guys. So I think the last person who's going to. So that's used up all of your action. So the last person to act is going to be Anorin, I think. So
How
you've got
far away is
2 frames. You've got 2 frames left for this round because again, I think you used one up in advance. You used one up, didn't you? So you've got 2 left. So what would you like to do?
Well, how close is Phase Strike?
I mean, what's that? It's hang on a minute. So she is
Like about a meter and a half.
about 3 meters. Yeah, she's about 3 meters away. Because each of those squares is 2 meters, and she's like a square and a half away. So she's 3 meters away.
Are we about to see the equivalent of fireball?
Right. Well, you still have your claws out, don't you?
Yes.
She does, yeah.
So that's 4 frames. So that's 2 frames. That gives me 4 speed movements. I might run, grab her, run back, and then spin round with her and cut them all with her claws.
Yeah, I love it. Let's do it. Okay, so where do you want to move? Okay, yeah.
So it's grab.
How would you like this to
essentially
play
spin
out
round.
then?
Well, I just like to kill them.
Okay, so it's going to take you. So first frame. you move.
So these are half frames.
Yeah, so half a frame. So half a frame will take you to her.
Yeah.
Let's say half a frame. I'm going to tell what I'm going to do. I'm going to get rid of the get rid of that guy. Oh, so I just get rid of Venorin? No, I didn't. Right, just get rid of that guy because he's out of play anyway.
Yeah.
So right, so you first frame is you run over to her. Her first half frame. Second half frame, you pick her up.
Yeah.
Then, if you want to put her to where you want to move her, so then use another half frame to move her. So there. So you run back with her there.
Yep. And then literally.
I'll tell you what I'm going to say. What I'm going to say
Yep.
to make things easier. Let's say, because these two guys obviously are super powered, but these two shock troopers, you can take them both out. So in the course of that attack, oh, hang on a minute, the dog's now decided she wants to go out. Nelly, sit down. So what you do is
no fucking Wi-Fi. I'm out.
I know she's out. She's moving house. What you can do is, if you're happy with doing it, we'll just say that you just take these two shock troopers out, because again, these two will be more difficult because obviously they are super powered and they've got defenses. However, those guys you just run in, picked her up, run around, and she's gone slash with them. And
there was no personal space in the 80s. No such thing as
exactly.
personal space.
You didn't ask her permission if you could pick her up and run with her.
There's no political threats going on.
So by my reckoning, that was one frame, so two half frames to run in, pick her up, another two half frames to move back down and to take out those two guys. So you've used up 2 frames. Just give me 1 sec. I'm just going to let the dog out. Just decide what you're going to do next. I shall be with you in 2 secs.
So you have. So I've got 2 movements left. What should we do?
How many frames have you got left?
I think 2. Do you have 2 frames? No, I've used 2 frames.
I thought you only had 2 frames.
How many frames? I forgot how many frames I had left.
We get 3. You had 3 frames to use. You've used 2 of them because you've used 4 half frames to do the movement. So you've got 1 frame left, which would be enough to do. So again, you could use those 2 half frames would be enough to move, obviously twice, but then 1 frame, it'd only be 1 frame. She can only do like 1 attack. So, but again, bearing in mind that these two are both super powered, so they're going to be able to defend against you, whereas the mooks obviously didn't have. You just ran into them, slashed them, took them out.
Okay, so I will then. That's
You've got 1 frame or 2 half frames left because you've got super speed.
2 half frames. I'm going to punch Iceman in the face.
Okay, so
has he got a helmet on? So essentially,
no,
we're going to end up back to back. I'm going to face Frost Guy, and she's
going to face Python.
That's it.
Cool. All right, so let's do that. So I've just zoomed in a bit. Did you actually? If I zoom in, do you see that zoom in or not?
No.
Does the map?
No.
Okay, so fine. It's just me. That's fine. I've just zoomed in to make it easy for me to see what's going on. Okay, so we'll say that you end up facing this guy, and you're facing this guy. Okay, so I think that's all of the extra frames used up, and they have 1 frame. They only have 1 frame. Sorry, no, I stand corrected. You've used yours. They get to finish off their frames now. So Python.
But the Mystic Shield helps both of us.
Correct. Yeah. Okay, so let's see where we are. So I think Python gets to act first. So she's the martial artist. So she is going to try and take a shot at a phase strike because you're right in front of her.
Yeah.
So she's going to use. She's just going to use. She's going to try and grapple you because again, that's her. That's her sort of signature move is to try and grapple. So what she's going to do. Okay. So she is going to do weapon class 3. And you are defense class 6. It's weapon class 3 versus weapon class 3 versus defense class 6. So she's got to roll a 9 or better to grapple you. Right, so she phase strike. She has got you in she's going to try and get you into a grapple. Now, that takes her 2 frames because it is a 2-handed attack, counts as. So you get the opportunity to defend here because you always have the opportunity to avoid an attack. So you've got the option to, I think, basically with a grapple, probably the only thing you can do is try and dodge it, I reckon.
Yeah. Give it a go.
So to dodge it, weapon class of the attack we said was weapon class 3. And to dodge it, your defense class, you need to roll a d6 first of all for me. So just roll a d6.
Okie dokie.
Okay,
3.
that's a 3. Has she got a dodge modifier? Oh, you've got a dodge modifier
I
of
have.
+2. Excellent. So that makes it a 5. Now, because of her martial arts, that comes down by 1, so it goes down to a 4. So you've got a 4. Oh, excellent! So you managed to shrug her off. So that's an F result, which means it's a failure. So she essentially tries to grapple you. So you're essentially what it is. You two are struggling. She's trying to get her arms around you because she's got super strength as well. So obviously the tactic she uses is she tries to grab onto you and then she'll try and crush you.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably don't want that to happen. However, you've managed to fight her off because, like I say, she's trying to get her arms around you, but you're kind of batting her away. So you two are struggling. So she can't use that attack again because she only has she doesn't have the frames to use for that. Actually, no, I stand corrected. No, she can try again. Sorry, I apologise because I forgot you used up 3 frames, so they get their full range of frames to use. So she will try one more time. And we'll see what happens this time. So again, she rolls a d20. No, that's not good enough. So again, you're literally kind of, if you imagine it's like a martial arts, you're kind of fighting each other. And she's, like I say, she's desperately trying to grapple you, and you're managing to fight her off. Again, I guess you're using your gymnastic skills and you're sort of slashing at her with your claws, but that's kind of what it looks like as this kind of melee is going on. So Froststorm is going to try and shoot Anorin. He's got his frames to use, so bear with me. He has got a energy attack of Frost Cannon. Okay. Frost Cannon. Okay. He is going to try and basically put you into an ice block like he's done with the other guy. So he's going to use his Frost Cannon, his weapon class 3. So weapon class 3, and your defense class is, because you've got the bonus from, and also you've moved at super speed, haven't you?
Yeah.
So you've got your current defense class is a 6. He gets a -1 to his. He gets a strike modifier of -1 because he has because you've got your defensive shield up, and so that means he needs get a 10 or better to have a chance of hitting you. Right, so he's hit you with his energy blast. Let me just double check the super speed. Do you only have 4 frames per round? You're going to dodge modifier. So right. So I guess you can try and dodge that because again you've got super speed gives you a good dodge modifier. So I would recommend you just try and dodge it if that makes sense.
Yes.
Seem fair? So he's got.
If I dodge it, does that mean
Yeah.
it's going to hit flame strike behind me?
No, because because he's aiming at you. He's basically. Let me just I've got a little. Like I said, I had some little graphics prepared. Just you bear with. I'm just going to add in. So I actually. Yeah, so I kind of made a little diagram-y thing of the ice beam because that's fun, isn't it? No, so he's sort of shooting that way. So if you dodge it, it's just gonna miss. It's just gonna you're just gonna jump out of the way, basically. All right. So it's a weapon class. So the attack was a weapon class 3, and you have got a. If you roll a d6,
I roll d6.
1d6. That's a 5. So you rolled it as a 5. Okay. So a 5, and then it's a 3, so that's an 8. Yeah, so you dodge that. So you dodge. So you are moving so quickly that you just zip out the way. Because again, super speed is a good thing, a good power to have. So you just literally dodge out, step out the way, and the frost beam shoots past you and just like strikes the pavement behind. Now he used up one of his frames in advance, so he cannot he can't shoot again with that because it takes an action to shoot. So I'm going to say that he's going to simply try and he's actually going to move out of your way because he's not the bravest of characters. So he is going to go to. He basically runs down here and he's going to try and shoot again, but from a distance because he doesn't like being in that close. Because, like I say, he's a bit of a coward. So he kind of runs. Yeah, he's run over here, run out of your way. I think that is the shock troopers that are left. So this guy here is going to try and attack Captain Sonar. Again, you're actually you've got because you've turned the. You've still got. I'll tell you what. Actually, let's see what you want to do, Captain Sonar, because you're first to act on our side. You've got a frame left because they've used up. You had your 3. They've used up their frames. So what was it you wanted? You were aiming the cannon. So if you want,
I want to shoot.
You've got a better shot at Frost Guy now because now that he's unwittingly he has actually made himself an easier target. Now it's up to what you can do is if you want, you can use your remaining frame to just slap this guy out of the way, and then you can attack Froststorm next turn. Or you can just shoot and just ignore this guy. It's up to you, really.
I will slap this guy, I guess. Get him out of the way.
So just make a D20 roll. As long as you roll, I think it's 4 or better, then I think you're going to take that. Okay.
I guess I'm distracted with these new controls.
There you go. Yeah, that's right. You're concentrating on trying to activate the cannon. So he's trying to sort of grapple with you with the gun. But again, you can deal with him next. I mean, all it's going to take is one hit, and he's going to be out of it. And obviously, these guys here are. This guy's unconscious, as we know. The truck is. This is batting up against the truck. 1 second while I let the dog back in. Bear with. Yeah, so I think that's everybody's acted. So it's back to the next. This is round 3 coming up now. So does somebody want to give me a D10 roll for your side? It would be great if you could get the initiative this time around. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, can you believe it?
It cancels that we re-roll, don't we?
Yes, re-roll, yeah, because it's one up, one has to win. So Excellent. So you won by 3. So you guys get 2 frames, right? So you get an action. So this is your opportunity to mop up a little bit here. Okay. So, right. So Captain Sonar, you get to act first. I'm assuming you're going to slap him first.
No, I'm definitely going to shoot the cannon. I need to shoot the cannon.
Okay. So in that case, no, that's cool. So I'll tell you what then. So you've brought the cannon round because you're aiming at Froststorm over here. Obviously you've brought the barrel of this huge weapon around, and this guy's suddenly realised he's literally staring down the barrel of the gun, and he essentially leaps sideways because he sees in your, he sees your intention is to literally just shoot this gun. So he literally jumps out of the way. So he uses up his frame to get the hell out of the way. You shoot. Now this weapon is it's weapon class 3. It's got a 20-meter range. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's only 12 meters. So it's definitely within range. And it is a weapon class 3. So if you would like to give me a D20 roll, please.
Yeah. Just give
Okay.
me 1 second.
No problem.
17.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
so-
Now, I'm also going to rule that he is unaware. So you are going to hit him because he doesn't see this coming, because he's run away over here, and again, he's bringing his own weapon round to try and shoot at these guys. He does not see you bringing this cannon to bear. So what does it do? It does 20-meter range. So if you can give me 3d6. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Excellent. So excellent. 23 hits Tacoma, and and can you do 1d6 of the 1d6 for the hits to kill for me? And that's 1. Okay, that's not so good, but that's cool. That's okay. So looking at his right. Okay, so what happens is you shoot this energy beam. Let me just bring in my little graphic again, just because I like it. So I'm just going to bring this in again. Okay. So essentially, no. Oh no, the truck's moved. That was not what I intended. Okay, so you essentially shoot this. You shoot this energy blast at him. Now, what happens here? There's two effects here. So the first thing is the energy, the frost beam strikes Froststorm. Now, you've not done enough damage to knock him out, but what you've done is you've essentially encased his lower heart. He's basically encased in ice, or at least his sort of the lower part of his body.
He's immune.
So we realise that this is an ice cannon.
So it's a. Sorry, yes, you're right. What am I talking about? It's not an ice cannon.
If it was an ice cannon,
That's for sure.
he'd be immune.
That's better. No, that's better. No, that's better. No, you're right. I was getting confused with his.
Yeah.
I was getting confused with his cannon. Right. So you hit him with the proton cannon, and just checking what he's taken already. So he's taken. Right. So you hit him with this cannon. He's enveloped in the energy beam, and he is knocked to the ground. He is basically stunned, and it has the added benefit as well. This guy here in ice, because the edge of the beam hits the ice, this basically shatters this block of ice. And the dice agent, who is currently encased in ice, drops to the ground. But you see that he still seems to be actually alive, just barely, but he sort of takes in a shuddering breath. And although he's unconscious, you've actually released him from the ice block. I mean, mainly by accident, but I'm sure that was part of your intention. Exactly.
Of course it was.
So,
Huzzah!
so you've hit huzzah. So you've and basically Froststorm is dropped to the ground and is incapacitated for now. So excellent work. So that's sorted him out, at least for now. And so next up we have Phase Strike. So you are in hand-to-hand combat with this Python lady. So what would you've got 2 frames, so you've got an action, so you can hand-to-hand, or you can I guess you probably can't hit with your bow because you'd have to draw your bow.
No.
So you're probably just going to have to punch her, I would imagine.
Yeah, I'll just try and punch her to, attempt to knock her out and get her to back off.
Excellent.
At the very least.
Okay, fine. So what you can do is, it's up to you. You've got claws, obviously, so that's probably because I guess you're wearing your claws anyway, aren't you? At this point?
I've got my claws out already. That makes more sense. Yeah, so I'll go through with my claws.
Right. Perfect. So she is a weapon class 2 attack. You've got weapon class 2 attack. She's got a DC of 5. So weapon class 2 DC. You need to get an 11 or better to hit her. If you can roll a D20 for me. Oh. Okay. So let me just have a little look. Yeah. So you kind of. But the good news is it's a one-handed attack. So you can have another go. Because you've got 2 frames, so you can attack her again. So give it another go.
I am. There we go.
What was that, Kevin?
The 20. So if we can retcon this, it makes it even funnier.
Yep.
Because I'm still at super speed, I go first.
Yep.
As such, I would have grabbed her, a Python, moved her out of the way, and brought her back straight into the claws at 20.
Perfect. So let's do that. That I love that idea. So so that's what happens. So you kind of run in, and you grab her and sort of slam her into the path of the attack. Seeing that the first attack missed, you grab her, run her into the attack. So because you've made a critical hit, can you roll me a D10?
Yep.
And then we'll see what fun effects we get from that. Hopefully something nice.
Nice.
Oh, nice. So it says foes power scramble. The blow hits a vital spot and scrambles a power or causes a device to malfunction. However, because she's like a martial artist, but essentially you hit a nerve center. So you slash in with your claw, but probably more by luck than judgment. You catch her, and it essentially numbs her. She sort of drops to the ground, clutching her arm, and it's essentially like you've paralyzed her temporarily, but it just means she's kind of incapacitated. She's not unconscious or anything, but you've literally hit her in a particular spot, and it's kind of deadened the nerves in her arm or something. You can interpret that as you like, but the point is she loses her ability to hit you. Now I'm going to roll 1d6. It's a random number of rounds. Oh, that's not good. Right. She basically, she's not going to be able to use her martial arts attack. I mean, so, because the problem with her is she's a bit of a one-trick pony. She's a martial artist, but because you've kind of almost paralyzed her, she's not going to be able to do much for 6 rounds, which is way past where this fight's gonna last. So she's pretty much incapacitated. And excellent. So. She sort of drops to the ground and is she's cursing you, but she can't do, literally it's like the world's worst dead arm, and okay, so at this point you've kind of neutralized. Sorry, go on, Kevin. You can go if you want.
I say this is what teamwork sounds like.
Little high five there.
Little high five there. As you're high fiving.
If I have the time, I will run to one of the dice agents, grab some cable ties, and handcuff, cable tie up the 2 supervillains.
No, that's totally cool. You can do that. I'd say they've probably got. I mean, I don't know. They've probably got handcuffs rather than cable ties, but absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Because like I say, you sort of as you run over to this guy. Yeah, he's got he's got some sort of binders on him, which you can retrieve, and similarly for this guy. And as you are dealing with that, so you guys are kind of again, you're kind of standing down from the battle. Suddenly you hear a screeching sound or a tearing sound from within the truck, And as you kind of look around to see where the source of the noise, there is a large crash, and bear with me. Sorry, apologies for the coughing. What can I do? Oh, that's irritating. I thought I'd come up with a cool graphic for that, but that is not a problem. Just bear with me one moment. Yeah, as you are subduing those guys, then there is a loud crashing sound, and from out of the roof of the vehicle, a figure hurtles out, flying into the sky. And as he leaps into the sky, he sort of zooms into the sky, he's letting out a barely human scream. You can't really tell whether it's a scream of fear or anger. But he flies out of the roof of the vehicle, and after appearing disoriented, he flies off into the night sky. And you are left slightly surprised, because you have to assume that this is the prisoner that was being transported by the DICE agents. And as I say, he leaves a gaping hole in the truck, and before you have a chance to react, he flies off into the sky and disappears. Now, I'm going to say, Captain Sonar, you are probably the most likely to recognise this. You recognise this character. Again, given your establishment ties, if you like, you remember that when you were a youngster, your father told you about a superhero known as Protector, and he was active in the 1960s. You don't remember anything. You don't really remember anything about him, other than that you probably had comic books with this guy featured in it, and you seem to remember that he was around in the 1960s. And obviously, you're of an age where you would have been, you would have been a young child. In fact, all of you would have been, young, if born at all, in the early 1960s. Although, obviously, you've been around for you've been around. However, you're bearing in mind that you probably drift in and out of human society, though.
I do have a thought about this. In as much as John Ball approached me in the 60s, just as they flooded the Welsh Reservoir, and I simply told him to fuck off. That's as far as when they flooded the Welsh Reservoir and the two Welsh nationalist armies, the terrorist groups emerged. That's the moment we go, nah, bugger off.
So just for those of you, so to put that in context, John Ball that he referred to was he was essentially the original British super soldier who was allegedly active in both world wars. Now, it's unclear as to whether it was the same John Ball who was in both world wars, or whether it was somebody, taking up the mantle of John Ball for World War II. But he's a kind of legendary British superhero. But again, again, I guess, Norrin, you might recognise Protector, because again, you've been around for
yeah, but
hundreds of years at least.
I thought about that as how an explanation as to why, and so the reservoir's a good one. Tell them to bugger off and kind of just ignored them, really. Yeah.
So, that's right. So again, I suspect you probably wouldn't have had much to do with them, but I suspect that certainly Captain Sonar again would probably at least you'd recognise. Again, he's again like a legendary hero from a couple of decades ago, but you don't really remember much about him. I mean, you can obviously do some research, but at the moment you just recognise the costume and the guy, but you don't know what he was doing in a DICE truck, or why he has. Why these guys were trying to capture him, or why he has escaped and flown off. But I think at that point, given the technical issues, I think we'll count ourselves lucky to have got to the end of that. And so I think we'll bring that session to an end. And that's kind of where I wanted to bring it to anyway. So you've managed to, like I say, you've managed to subdue Froststorm. So when the dice reinforcements arrive, as they inevitably will, or the police arrive, they are taken into custody.
One minor thing.
Yep.
I will take Froststrom's frost cannon and
Yep.
give it to Captain Sonar.
Okay, perfect.
And then Captain Sonar has will have a weapon that does 25d6 over 5 rounds.
Yeah, that works for me. If you want to keep it, it's up to Captain Sonar if he wants to keep it. But certainly, if nothing else, you can investigate it to you can certainly study it. And
take it from him and figure out what I'll do with it afterwards. I'll ask him if he wants a lift my new hovercraft.
Sorry, say that again. What do you want to do about?
I've just asked him if he wants a lift home my new hovercraft. I can drop us all off.
Yeah, no, perfect. Actually,
I will cast invisibility on the hovercraft, and we can.
I think that's do you know what? I don't actually hate that idea. I think that's actually a good idea because we did establish, didn't we, that because you kind of ended up getting taxis and things, but it might actually be not a bad idea for you to have some sort of a vehicle. Again, you kind of come into. Well, you can chuck your bike in the back, can't you? But the point is, DICE are pretty cooperative. Again, at the moment, the way what will happen in the aftermath of this is, so obviously, DICE agents turn up, and you kind of you first of all they the police and them kind of subdue, take away all of the soldiers, and the as you say, the two supervillains are subdued and taken away, then they kind of question you. You just get your they kind of ask you what happened, and you explain that this guy's come out of the truck. So you obviously subdued the bad guys, but then this guy's come out of the truck and flown away, and they're kind of oh goodness, Major Dawson's not going to be happy about that. But anyway, the point is they secure the crime scene, and once they've taken statements from you and have dealt with all of that, then you're free to go. And I've got no problem with you sort of keeping the hovercraft and also the frost cannon as well for now. They ask. What was that? No, it's all right. I was just.
Supervillains, superheroes don't take the weapons off of the super.
Well, you can just say that you're there but you can just say that you're going to analyze it because it's a it's a high tech device. You can certainly, they're happy for you to take it and investigate it. And again, Captain Sonar's a known specialist in the field, so they won't question that at all. And again, take the certainly for now you can take the hovercraft again. It depends where you're going to take it, but the point is, you can all sort of together leave the field of action, and then has anyone got any other questions or comments before we wrap up? And then, like I say, we'll pick this up next time.
Do we have to go north of the river?
Well, might have to at some point.
It's fine because I could drop you off, but I'm not going north of the river this time of night. You have to walk. Get a cab.
Get a cab. Perfect. Okay, listen.
We swapped page numbers.
So you have really the frost gun and the flying car. Frost gun's good.
Yeah.
That gives us extra options.
Wendy's all on me. Let's go.
Wendy's. Oh, blimey, there's a Wendy's. I could do with a Wendy's right now. Perfect. So, you kind of they wrap everything up. You're going to leave. You're sort of gathering your stuff. As I say, we'll carry on with this next time. So, apologies for the technical issues. I don't know what happened there, but my Wi-Fi went down. So, I'm hoping that the recording has at least salvaged some of it, if not all of it. I did try and cancel it, but it didn't let me do it. So, I'm hoping it's still going, and I'll just stop it. Once we're finished. Thanks again for playing. Really appreciate that. Thanks. Great to have you turn up, Jason, particularly because I know you weren't originally going to make it, but thanks again for being here, and thanks to the rest of you. Hope you had a good time. I'm certainly enjoying Golden Heroes. I hope you are as well.
Yeah.
and some more cool stuff there. I particularly like the fact that you've now turned into the Flash. I like the fact you're mixing it up, Kev. That's great.
I'm trying because I don't want to be a one-trick pony.
No.
But my second attempted trick was going to be to cast flight, lift up Iron Man, and just drop on the ground.
Yeah, perfect. Well, again, the good thing is that's the enhancement spell, isn't it? So that gives you lots of options. But no, that was great. That was good fun. Thanks again. Again, appreciate that. I know it's it's really good for me. I've really enjoyed it. And unless there's anything else, I think we'll call it quits there. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you next time.